Okay, this is a continuation of the layers video. Now, just to recap, remember from the first video we talked about why we use layers. The first reason is for visual purposes. It's going to make it easier for us to view what we have. And two, for editing purposes. We can turn on and off layers, lock layers, freeze layers as we need. And then the third one is for printing purposes. There's something that's called line weights. Okay, whenever you get print something out on paper, you don't want all the lines to have the same thickness. You want some lines thicker than others, depending on what is it that you want to make visible. Okay, you're gonna learn more about this in your blueprint reading class. So there's something that's called line weights. Okay, so we're gonna change, in our case, there's different ways of doing that, but in our case, the way we're gonna do it with our template is that we're gonna change, or we're gonna manage the line weights through the layers. And this is gonna be a step forward that we're gonna cover in a couple of, maybe next week. So again, line weights. So again, one reason why we do layers is for visual purposes, make it easier for us when we draft. Second, also for editing purposes, so we can log, freeze layers if we need to. And three, for printing purposes. We're gonna assign a thickness to a color, and depending on that color, when we print, is gonna give us a different thickness from the printer. And right now, if this doesn't make too much sense, we're going to go over that when we do those files that we're gonna need. So, three reasons: viewing, editing, and plotting. All right, so remember the properties that we discussed last week. Everything we have has a different property. Well, each layer that we have, you can give it its own property. Okay, we discussed this last week of what it means to have a property. So if you look at these layers, they have, the properties are here. Usually you want to have the layers always by layer. So the color itself, you want to put it by layer. So now you know why it says by layer. It means that the color is going to be changed on the actual layer. So the color that you want is going to be selected by the color you give to each individual layer. So always leave it by layer here. On the line weight, now these are the line weights. You can actually give line weights from here. We're not going to do that. Okay, for one of the assignments you will, and I'll show you how to do that. But for our template, we're not going to change the line weights here. We're going to change them through a CTB file that we're going to create later on. Okay, and then the line type. We know this, the line type. Again, from your blueprinting class, you probably went over this. Again, if you have not done so, please go over the architectural alphabet of lines. Just Google that, search that, watch videos on that. The alphabet of lines. So again, you can attach a different line type or particular line type to the layer. Okay? Now, how do we do that? How do we access the layers? There's different ways of doing that. One would be to click here where it says layer properties. And this window opens, in which you can find all the layers. Okay? And then you can have the properties of the layer here. For example, this layer, first, let me open some of these. You're going to have the options that already went over, where we turned them on and off. They're going to be the first three. You're going to have a tab for printer, and I'm going to go over that later on. And then you're going to have a tab or an area for color. Here's where we're going to give each layer its particular color. And then one for line type. We are going to change some of these. For example, notice that a majority are continuous, but there you have some center. Well, this one only have center. In our case, we could have center, hidden, and phantom, I believe. So we can change the line type to the particular layer. Okay, and then you have line weight here. In our case, we're not going to change the line weight. For one of the assignments you have for this week, though, you are going to change it. Okay, when I mean we're not going to change the line weight in ours, I mean in the template. But there's going to be an assignment you have to do for this week in which you have to change the line weight, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, transparency. Okay, you want to make the layer a little transparent. And when I mean the layer is whenever you draw something on that layer, this is how the line is going to react. It's going to give that color, that line type, this line weight, and that transparency level. Okay, and then you can add a description here. If I click here, I can add a description. Let's see, new, change description right here. You can add a description there. And again, in one of the assignments, it's going to ask you to do that. Okay, so these are the layers for this drawing that I have open. Now, let me close it. I just want to show you where they are. And then right now I'm going to go over some of this stuff here. You can access it through here, again, to create your layers, your layer properties. You can type layer. It will do the same thing. Or you can do just LA, and it'll do the same thing, whichever you want. Okay? And I believe, I don't know if, no. Okay. So you can do it like that. Now, let's create our own layers in our template. So I'm going to close this one, and I'm back on my template. Notice that my template only has one layer. Okay? Now, we're going to add the layers that we have on the standard manual on our template. Okay? Make sure you're on the template. And these are going to be the layers that we discussed. So we're going to do the architectural layers. Notice that it's going to give us, we have to give it a name, a color, and a line type. Okay, I'm not going to do all of them, of course. I'm going to do several. So you have to do all these layers, and all these layers. Now this right here, we're going to use that to do groups. And I'll show you that once we add the layers, or if I don't do it on a video, I'll do it on the live session, so we can group them, and I'll show you what is the benefit of that. So let's do the layers. Okay, so I'm going to start with let's start with border. Color is going to be 4, and it's continuous. Okay, so a border, we have to type it the way it's here, all caps, the way it's here. Give it a color and line type. Now you're going to notice that every color has a number, and some of these have a number but not the actual name of the color. You'll know why in a bit. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do border 4 continuous. So I'm going to go to AutoCAD, access the layer properties like that. Okay, whenever you want to do a new layer, you're going to click on that button right there. It says new layer, right? Easy. Or do Alt-N. Click on that. It's going to give me layer, and it's going to default call it layer 1. Of course, I don't want to call it layer 1. I want to call it A-border. I think that's what we have there, correct? Yes, border. Okay, once I give it a name, now I can come here and give it the color. The color that we need, oops, not that one. The color that we need is 4 or cyan. Actually, not or. 4 is cyan. So I'm going to come here to color, and where it's white, I'm going to click there, and this is going to open. Now notice that if you can see in this section that here where I'm pointing right now, you don't see nothing there, but as soon as I go to the colors, you're going to see a color index here. And each color has its own number. Okay? You can, for example, cyan is this one, number 4. That's why on the standards manual you see 4 cyan. So if you're going to change it, all you have to do is click on this, and it's going to be that color. So that color is going to be attached to this layer. Or, let me change it to a different color, or you can just come here where it says color and put the number there. You put OK, and automatically it's going to give you this. It's going to give us that color, and that color is cyan. All right. In our case, the line type stays as continuous because we don't want to change it. Okay, so it's that simple. Again, and the assignment that you have for this week, you're going to have to change line weights and description, not for our template. That's only for the assignment that you have, and I'll probably load it up in a bit. So let's do another one. Now I'm going to do dims, and then I'm going to go to equipment. Okay, and let's do all this for. So let's do dims, that's going to be red, and let's do doors, that's going to be red too. So let's do those two layers. So layer A, dims, color red. Okay, continuous. You leave it like that. It's defaulted. Another one, A, door. Notice that it's going to keep the last color, so I'm going to leave it like that, red, and continue. It's already done. Now the other one, equipment is 15 and is hidden. Okay, so let's do that. A, equipment, color 15. So I'm just going to come here, put 15, and it's going to find it for me automatically. See, is that color? And then here I need hidden. So I'm going to click here on line type. Now it's not here, so I need to load it. So I go to load, I go look for hidden, right here, bring it in. Now I can select it. So now notice that equipment, that's color 15, and the line type is hidden. Okay, so follow those steps and create all these layers from a border on the architectural layers. And again, we're gonna come back to this. We're gonna label them, or not label them, we're gonna group them, but not right now. Don't worry about it right now. Just do all the layers. So you're gonna do all these layers, each individual one, give it its accurate, the name, the color, and the line type. Okay, and then you do these right here and call them like this: A-DTL-dim, give it a color and give it the line type. And same thing with structural. S, name, S stands for structural, of course, color, and line type. Okay, remember, you can load the line types. Okay, let me just do this one so you can see. I'm going to do grid, red, center 2, S grid. So when you come here, same thing, S, grid, color, I have a very short red, and line type center 2. Again, whenever the line type is not here, you have to load it. I'm gonna go find it, center 2 right here, and then assign it to it. There you go. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Add all these layers, again, all the way from architectural detail, and structural. Make sure you add them here. Okay, add all of them. Once you add all of them, you just close it, and you're gonna see them right here. Okay, for example, if I want to draw something on the equipment layer, I can select that layer and draw, and the line is gonna be hidden because I told it that's how I want the layer to look. If I do something on is grid, it's gonna look like that. Okay, so now we're gonna start drawing with layers. All right. Now for one of the assignments, okay, for one of the assignments that you have, it's gonna tell you week 7 activities. I believe is, let me see if it's this one. Actually, for both of them, here it's gonna tell you to do this different lines. And then change the line type to phantom, hidden, center, fence line 1, fence line 2, and then just draw this right here. Now it doesn't give you dimensions, it's just so you can practice doing adding different line types. Okay, and then you have this one, problem 6. Here it's gonna give you a description. This is like a property, it's like a site plan. You can see the instructions there, and it's gonna ask you to do these layers here. Okay, so this is gonna be the names. This is going to be the colors you're going to give them, line types you're going to give it, and notice here you're actually giving it a line weight and a description. Okay, again, this is only for the assignment, so you can practice. These are not the layers that we need on our template. So you open, do a drawing, okay, create those layers only for that drawing, for this assignment, for problem 6. Okay, they're different than for the template. Just keep that in mind. All right, and then you draw it, and try to draw it to scale. This is what it represents. This is a street, this is a driveway, this is the house, this is a sidewalk. So more or less, you know, do it to the actual size. And I'll give you a tip. You can do the driveway more or less between 18 to 20 feet from here to there. And then the rest, eyeball it, make it look as close to reality as you can. Okay? So again, do those layers, make sure they're here, and again, make sure you're doing it to your template. Make sure you're on the template. All right, then you save it. So if I were to open a new drawing from my template, and my template is here, notice that it's gonna have the layers that I just added. And again, I'm in drawing 5. Okay, we discussed this on the video, on the live session. Right, so let's go ahead and I'll add all those layers that we have in the standards manual into our template. All right, let's do that, and then we go from there.